Cody actually never said anything too negative about AEW.
Yeah, you want to change it?
And what Cody said about AEW fans is something I might have to agree with. As a matter of fact, I'm ready to slap my exaggerated reaction on your thumbnail. Game is game. I don't necessarily enjoy tribalism in wrestling, but it's crazy how delusional things can get. Just recently I saw someone responding to a picture of AEW's low attendance with a picture of WWE's low attendance from 2019. We also have some good news for talent who will be leaving WWE, kinda. Wade Barrett came after CM Punk again. Update on Seth Rollins' involvement in Punk Drew extravaganza. Shout out Chris Van Vliet. Welcome back to Greatness of Wrestling.
I'm hurt, I'm old,
I'm coming hard.
Get perp. Farming is gambling.
Mama Rose!
Trash.
Daddy's back.
Go yourself.
Acknowledge me!
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Greatness of Wrestling. How are my people doing today? Now, I have some interesting news. So we all know Cody was a big part of the creation of AEW, and during the Chris Van Vliet interview, he spilled the beans. I want to start with this, which is Cody being kinda hurt by the Young Bucks claiming that, Cody was the last one who got involved in the creation of AEW. But what actually happened, he was the last to meet Tony Khan in person. Cody actually even said, I can't wait to write a book and tell my side of the story. Now, of course, I have no idea how deep this actually goes, but, it does kinda seem like the Young Bucks or AEW wanna kinda erase Cody from their history. Not necessarily erase him from the history, but change it. Cody said to certain fans from the AEW fandom, they need the story to be, they didn't want me, they pushed me out. He was bad. They need that story. They need me to be the villain. Which is something you clearly see if you use this terrible thing called X. The hypocrisy on Twitter, X, is absolutely crazy. For example, when Edge was still in the WWE, oh, he's washed. He jumps to AEW, the same people are saying, wow, what a move. Big money move, Tony. And it goes the other way around. But like I've said, I hate this tribalism. It doesn't matter. Watch what you enjoy. Here's why, in my opinion, AEW fans are a little worse right now than the WWE fans. And I'm talking about the crazies, right? In this tribalism world that they like to participate so much, AEW fans are on the losing side. Meaning you'll get a lot more outlandish takes, and this is what Cody said. Some of the AEW defenders who don't realize they're turning people off their product more than they're turning people on. It's a pretty fair statement in my opinion, but I would like to kinda, disagree a little bit. Sometimes I do feel that way too, and it's actually not necessarily fair. Every product has a shitty fan base, a part of it, right? But it can sometimes make you go, I don't want to be a part of this, y'all, a bunch of crazy people. Outside of the product not being that interesting right now, what really turned me off is the AEW management, the censorship, the claims that, oh, we want the gifts, we want your opinions, we care about the fans. Every time you say something negative, you post something negative about AEW, you're getting flagged, you're getting copyright notices, and even the fans, you're getting absolutely bombarded, and I've heard some interesting claims. Not gonna say, I don't want to get in trouble, but, the management, the fans, it is kind of a big part of why it's really hard to support AEW right now. And the fans will claim that Cody didn't mean shit for AEW, that they're glad Cody is gone. Cody Rhodes is the undisputed WWE champion right now and had probably the best professional wrestling story in the past 20 years. But people need to realize arguing about AEW or the WWE is absolutely pointless. You will never get an objective opinion. I don't think so. Very rarely, because you're either watching this product or that product. I guess the biggest tip I could give you is just stay away from social media, especially X. This whole AEW versus WWE situation is really like politics, especially in America, where people are really into this black and white thinking, whether it's this or that. Nothing in between. I gotta pick sides. When in reality, both sides can be wrong and both sides can be, right. Most of the time, it's somewhere in the middle. I think y'all f***ing crazy. And what I'm trying to tell you, that's the exact same thing in professional wrestling on a much more dumb and unimportant, pointless scale. Some interesting news for WWE talent who will be leaving WWE. So, Brian Alvarez said on Wrestling Observer Live that wrestlers coming into WWE get their name trademarked, but only for as long as they are with the company. Once they leave, they get everything handed over to them, and they can use that name going forward. That's obviously a huge break from how things used to be around. I guess the most recent example is Jacob Fatu. So he was Jacob Fatu in the Indies, he's Jacob Fatu in the WWE. If he happens to leave the WWE or get fired, he will get to keep the name. Now that all sounds interesting. Some of you may say, well, if that happened earlier, maybe Adam Copeland would be called Edge in AEW, or Jon Moxley could be called Dean Ambrose. Well, that's not necessarily the case. Pro Wrestling Insider claims that if WWE created the name, WWE owns and retains that trademark. So I don't expect many changes anyway. Now, I find it interesting, what would be the case for someone like AJ Styles? He was called AJ Styles before the WWE, but he's been in the WWE for such a long time. Could he even keep the name since it happened such a long time ago? Obviously, I always root for the talent over the company, so I feel like it would be great if they could actually keep the names, but at the end of the day, I get it. Not only WWE or AEW or whatever gave you the name, they also made you famous. The name is WWE's property. So what we're getting right now, guys like Jacob Fatu keeping their name even if they get fired and they're not getting screwed over, you know, can't even use their name that they used before the WWE. That is already a huge step, and I feel like that's kinda enough. Not in a perfect world, but I mean, that's great news in my opinion. WWE announced some retro CM Punk shirts, including a Nexus shirt from 2011. Now we all know Wade Barrett has a problem with CM Punk, in kayfabe at least. He says CM Punk should be fired. He screwed over Drew McIntyre so many times. If it happened in any other sport, he should be fired. Obviously, Wade Barrett is buds with Drew McIntyre. So Wade Barrett responded, a Nexus shirt? WTF is this BS? And who in the merch department is getting a slap this Friday at Drew McIntyre? If some of you started watching WWE yesterday, Wade Barrett was the leader of the Nexus, a group that was later taken away from him by CM Punk. Before we continue, Drew McIntyre said, I'd rather be seen wearing a Core shirt than that shite. Yeah, Core was a thing. I did like it though. Unpopular opinion, I loved Core. They had great theme songs, man. What can I tell you? It's so interesting how often this is happening. Either Wade Barrett literally has a problem with CM Punk, or they're actually building something. I have seen rumors of Wade Barrett getting back into the ring. I just don't see that happening. And I know this is wishful thinking, it's not gonna happen, but we're getting CM Punk versus Drew at SummerSlam, right? Most likely. What if Wade Barrett gets involved? I mean, WWE rarely go back into the history that much, but CM Punk took everything away from Drew McIntyre, and he took pretty much everything away from Wade Barrett too. He took the Nexus, the most successful thing Wade Barrett created. That'll be such a pretty cool story. I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking nonsense right here. Speaking of CM Punk, lately we've seen a lot of Seth Rollins involvement. It seems like now it's a rivalry between CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, and Seth Rollins again. As of last week, Wrestling Observer Radio's Dave Meltzer was being told by WWE sources that Seth Rollins would not be added to the CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre match at SummerSlam. Rollins is expected to be involved in the match, but it's not gonna be a three-way. So I thought it's going to be, because, I mean, why is he getting involved so much? Obviously, he's going to interfere. That's how, you know, crazy the storyline is. And that's good. You know, I want to see a triple threat match, but I also want to see Punk versus Drew McIntyre one-on-one, since the storyline was so great. I also want to see Punk versus Seth Rollins, a match we never got because of Punk's injury. But when it comes to SummerSlam, man, like, I went into this pay-per-view early on thinking, none of these matches are SummerSlam matches. Solo versus Cody, didn't give a shit about. But you know, now it hit me. Roman Reigns. Damien versus Gunther, I felt like that's not a SummerSlam match, but this promo changed my mind. And of course, we're getting Drew versus Punk. Sometimes you just gotta let him cook. And that's all I got for you today. Thank you so much for watching this video. Like, subscribe if you already didn't. As always, your boy, The Great One. Peace, love, and hugs. It's been a pleasure.